What's the Story with Mr. McGrory. Welcome to this week's episode of Numeracy News. This week we're going to look back at some topics we did last half term to see how well we can remember them. I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Murphy, who's going to show you what to do the SWB way.
Thank you, Mr. McGrory. So this week we're revisiting the skills that you learnt in half term 1. So we're going to have a look at decimal addition, decimal subtraction, multiplying integers and multiplying decimals. Question 1 is on decimal addition. So the things I need to remember are that I need to line up using the decimal point to help me, and I need to fill in any gaps with zeros. So I'm doing 6.54 add 9.807, and you will notice that I have lined up my decimal points and each of my digits. I'm going to fill in this gap with a 0 so that I can see exactly what is going on with my calculation. 0 plus 7 is 7 because we always start on the right hand side of our additions. 4 plus 0 is 4. 5 plus 8 is 13. And 6 plus 9 plus 1 is 16. So question 1, my answer is 16.347. Okay. Question 2 is on decimal subtraction. So same idea again, I need to line up using the decimal point to help me. So question 2 is 9.57 subtract 6.88, and I have lined up my decimal points. There are no zeros that need to be added anywhere because there are no spaces anywhere in my calculation. Starting off on the right hand side again, 7 subtract 8, because 8 is greater than 7, that would give me a negative answer, so I need to exchange by crossing out the 5 and replacing it with a 4 and take the spare 10 that I now have across to here. 17 subtract 8 leaves me with 9. 4 subtract 8, again 8 is greater than 4, so I need to exchange again. This time from the 9, which becomes 8, and carry my 10 across. I now have 14 subtract 8, which I can do, and which gives me an answer of 6. Finally, 8 subtract 6 is 2. So my answer is 2.69. Next question is on multiplying integers. So, on question 3, I need to multiply 78 by 59. The SWB way of multiplying integers is using the grid method. So I'm going to split 78 into 70 and 8, and I'm going to split 59 into 50 and 9 in my grid. I've given myself plenty of space to write all of my numbers in, and I like to put a little multiplication sign in the corner to remind me that I'm multiplying. The easiest way to do 50 multiplied by 70 would be to do 5 times 7, which is 35, and then count up the zeros that I need to put on the end for my place value. Next calculation is 50 multiplied by 8, so again I'm going to do 5 multiplied by 8, which is 40, and put on the extra 0 as a placeholder from 50. 9 multiplied by 70, 9 times 7 is 63, and 1 0 from the 70. And then finally 9 multiplied by 8 is 72. I now need to add together all of the numbers that I got in my grid. So I'm going to write them as a column addition next to my calculation, and I'm going to start with the greatest value. 3,500, and then 630, and then 400, and then 72. I'm going to add those together. That gives me 2 here, 10 here, 16 here, and then 4. So my final answer is 4,602 for question 3. Question 4 is multiplying decimals, but the skills are the same. Instead of doing 0.68 multiplied by 3.05, I will do 68 multiplied by 305. Again, I'm going to use grid method because that is the SWB way of multiplying decimals and integers. So I'm going to set up my grid, and I'm going to split 68 into 60 and 8, and I'm going to split 305 into 305. 6 multiplied by 3 is 18, and I need 3 zeros as my placeholders. 6 multiplied by 5 is 30, and then I need an extra 0 as a placeholder. 8 multiplied by 3 is 24, and then I need 2 zeros, and then 8 multiplied by 5 is 40. I now need to add these 4 values together using column addition. I will start with the greatest value at the top, and I'm being really careful to make sure that I have all of my zeros. Next greatest value, and the next, and the last. I'm going to add those together. That's 0, that's 4, that's 7, that's 10, and that gives me 2. So the answer to 68 multiplied by 305 is 20,740. But the calculation I originally had was 0.68 multiplied by 3.05. This has 2 decimal places, and this has 2 decimal places. Altogether, that gives me 4 decimal places. So my final answer needs to have 4 decimal places in it. So my final answer will be 2.0740 because I have 4 decimal places in my answer. Make sure that you've got written down all of the correct working out for these. If you haven't managed to do that, please ask your teacher to just rewind the video slightly so you can get that all down. And then when you're ready, you have time to do the questions on the back of the sheet. You will notice that this week we have 12 questions. There are 4 in each section, and one of them is on each of the 4 different skills we've just reviewed. Make sure that you're showing your working clearly, and your answer is in the answer box for when you mark it. Off you go.